I want to get down to business tonight here, chat. We can keep having our random conversations as we always do. I want to get down to business because I have something to tell you in regards to your Vancouver Athletics. Something happened. Something happened. Now, of course, I brought back the Montreal Expos just to fuck with you guys. I was able to fill out my team. I do have Rule 5 players that I cannot get rid of. So that could be a problem, again, because I don't have control, like proper control of the Rule 5 draft, because, again, it still doesn't work with two teams in control at the same time. So there's not much I can do about the fact that I have a couple of Rule 5 players on this team. It just is what it is, essentially. It's a pain, and I don't like it, but it literally will not let me cut them, at least right now. It might let me cut them at the beginning of the season. So my team is pretty much set up the way I'd need it to be. Of course, super low overalls across the board, all that stuff. Chat's team. You guys signed some big contracts in the offseason and front-loaded them. You guys are currently $6.62 million over budget. So I was able to have the AI auto fix the team. However, you have no starting pitchers, and pretty much all relievers is who it signed to auto fix the team. I was able to make sure that you could properly field a roster for the most part, including, of course, you wanted to start John Slaughter down in AAA. But yeah, so you technically have a roster. It's just not an ideal setup because, again, you are well over budget because of these front-loaded deals that include Juan Soto on $51.5 million, $47.7 for Vladdy, and now $29 million, down to $26 next year for Dylan Cease. So I did the best I could, and we'll see if there are any side effects. I don't know if there will be or not. Really quickly, let me double check my Rule 5 players. Okay, I can get rid of them now. So let me get rid of Tony Santillan. Get rid of him. Ian Seymour, I'm not allowed to have him either. And it also gave me Jesus Sanchez, who I'm not allowed to have. Luke Gold, who I'm not allowed to have. It made so many Rule 5 picks for me. It's unbelievable. But that is all of them, and then hopefully I can still field the team properly. I don't believe it picked up a single Rule 5 pick for you guys because you couldn't afford it. So we'll see what happens this season with these two teams. You guys are ranked 30th. I'm ranked 29th. Obviously, it's not looking like it's going to be a crazy season or anything like that. I do want to take a look at the top prospect list, though. Damon Kaufman is still the number one prospect in baseball for Milwaukee. Outside of that, in terms of our two teams, you have the top prospect between the two of us with Jim David at number 19, and then making his debut at number 24 is the new starting pitcher, Avi England. So you guys are looking pretty damn good from a starting pitching perspective. Do we have anybody else? My top prospect, number 53, the catcher, Will Comstock. So Sam Valley's also there at number 60. So we both have a couple of prospects. You guys have the higher ranked prospects right now. Your first overall pick from last year, Juan Baroa, debuts at number 80. So again, good player, not quite what you were hoping for with the number one pick. But I think with that, we're pretty much good to go. A look at the team. Again, you guys have Dylan Cease, Yuri Perez, Peter Solomon, a relief pitcher with 39 stamina and a relief pitcher with 35 stamina in the starting rotation, you could end up with some very interesting results this year, I think is the best way to put it. Holy hell, the Rockies are getting shit on. Jesus. In terms of your lineup, Juan Soto, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Mike Yastrzemski in the mix as well. But Soto and Vladdy leading the way for you guys. The hope, the prayer is that these two at 27 don't just take the money and stop trying, because you're paying them a lot of money. A whole lot of money over the next couple of years. So, and then of course, in terms of my team, it's still very slow and steady. Apparently, I don't even have a fixed rotation, but Ranger Suarez, Yusei Kikuchi, Jose Quintana are there. And Miguel Quinones, who I drafted this past season. Venezuela, #1. I need to order a Venezuelan flag at this point. I still might move Montreal to Venezuela. I might. We've joked about it. I might just say 1 season in Montreal, and then I'm moving to Venezuela. That might be the way to do it. Lineup-wise, yeah, it hasn't fixed my lineups or anything like that yet. But obviously, Gleyber Torres, Luis Rengifo, the Gio Urshela, that's about it, right? I don't have too much going on for me. So it'll be another slow and steady season for our two franchises here. Yeah, this is going to be rough. Once you're able to, can you tell us what the nationality is of the top player in the draft? Yes, I can, especially because I have the #1 pick. We are both 0-8 to start the season, but it is time to scout for the very first time. That #1 projected player, Missouri-born Richie Christensen, the starting pitcher. Obviously, this can change, but yeah, so far, it's all chat. Eddie Cabrera. Edgar. That might be my #1 overall pick right there. That might be it. The money issues will sort themselves out. Eddie Cabrera is going to be like my only guy. Another Venezuelan, Felipe Casillas. Jesus Christ. I'm moving the team to Venezuela. It's happening. It's absolutely happening. As I discovered last time out, Discovery was very difficult. I'm going to do a base level of Discovery instead of like having all 3. Big shout out to Knucklehead, by the way, for the 61 months. Knucklehead, how the hell are you? Hope you're doing well. And let's see for chat. So chat, you have a choice here, right? You have a choice. In terms of what you might need, right? Because that's the big question, is what do you guys look to do money-wise? You could argue, chat, I'm guessing it's Dijo. Could be Dijo. Let me know. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. You could argue you guys don't necessarily need to scout a catcher this year. I mean, Lonnie Duarte is not a guarantee. But if we go back to our old formula of yes, kinda, not really, in terms of what you might need, catcher's in a kind of, right? Catcher's in that kind of range. First base, you don't need a first baseman. You got Vladdy. So I don't think you have to waste time scouting out first baseman right now. Second baseman is a yes. You don't really have anybody in the system there at second base as of yet. Third base, I'd argue you don't really need a third baseman. You got John Slaughter. He should be the guy. I think you can focus on other positions for this year. Like shortstop, you do have Miles Naylor, who I don't think you guys drafted. I think he was a free agent signing, but I'll just let you have him because who cares? Shortstop, you could argue, is still a yes. Left field, that's still kind of a yes. You do have Sean Yeager there, but maybe even in a kind of, because technically someone's there. Center field, Floyd Horton. Again, I'd put it in a kind of, like he's not great, but... And then in right, you got Juan Soto. So... And then, of course, all of the pitching, right? So, based on that, you guys don't have the time to waste with too much. But based on that, I'd say pitching, second base, and shortstop are kind of your top priorities right now. Based on what we just looked at. There's a couple of different ways to do this to get a little bit more information on prospects. But we can go back to the old school strategy of just starting pitchers, look at the relievers, look at the closers, then look at those two infield options and see what else you can possibly get. So it's pretty much what you guys are looking at right now for this year in terms of scouting. As the A's finally win their first game, 5-4 over Seattle. So I'm 2-13 apparently. Okay, I didn't discover any catchers. Let's see, discover outfielders. And then let's scout Edgar Cabrera early on. And who was my next highest rated eligible player? Wish I had the Dominican, but it's okay. I'll survive. I'm going to say it every time. Felipe Casillas at first base. I'll look at those two. And we'll look at those two. So for chat, let's march on here. International, go to relievers, West, and relievers Central. And sim another week. It'll be nice once we get back to the point where we can actually care about the regular season. But for now, our two teams are going to continue to get absolutely stomped every season. But that is by design. All right, my scouts aren't really viewing either of these two as like dead set first round picks. That's a little bit scary, to be honest. Starting pitchers, international. Keep looking there. Go to relievers. Big shout out to Ivory. My friend's dog barked at a person on crutches today. I mean, if I was a dog, I'd think crutches were weapons. That's a good dog. Defend your human. It's a good dog. Ivory, thank you for the 66. How are you? All right, let's see. Finish scouting out the closers. There you go. And for me, let's look at relievers. 7 wins for the Jesus Christ, the Mets are 7-19. There's no way the Mets can have a worse team than me. There's just no way. I mean, they're the Mets, so there's a chance, but there's just no way. Yes, both teams have their top players on the trade block just to see what offers might come through. All right, so for you guys, it'll be off the second base, where you don't really have anybody in the system yet. That'll be second base, shortstop, and then it'll be up to you guys if you want to go catcher, left field, and center, or if you want to start looking at those that you already have had scouted. So that'll be the question. I'm still not allowed at middle school due to an incident with my crutches. Buck, I appreciate you being intentionally vague. I'm not going to ask you what happened. Did I see what the IRL White Sox did? I saw they got shut out. Hey, Red Sox score again. Love to see it. Love to see it. Look at the Red Sox actually doing things. Imagine. They still don't exactly have pitching, but damn it, they're trying. Damn it, they're trying. Let's see, shortstop West. Shortstop Central. Go back over here. All right, we're good. So yeah, let me know, guys. Catcher, left field, center field, or focus on those that you've already scouted to get more information. You think SDS will improve much scouting-wise of franchise? It's always a tough call in terms of whether or not a dev team's going to, invest in the franchise modes beyond like a couple of things here and there, just because again, it's not the money-making mode. But Hulk, that's insane, by the way. Dive deeper to make our higher picks worth it. There you go. All right. So let's finish up with shortstops and start looking at those who have already been scouted, which includes Richie Christensen, the potential first overall pick. Does look like he could be pretty damn good. For me, I'm going to continue my approach. Start looking at first baseman. God, you could argue this isn't worth it to do it this way, though. You could argue maybe it's not worth doing it this way because I have so few options to begin with, don't I? Okay, hold on. If I look at, like, catchers, for example, who do I have? Lincoln Hager. And I could, yeah, I might just be able to individually scout players at this point. Jamaica's not mine. Puerto Rico's not mine. Venezuela. I mean, it definitely helps me get like a base level on players. I just wonder if I'm wasting time by not doing it directly. You know what I mean? Netherlands for Jeffrey Worth. But then again, I am getting a base level of information on all of them. I think I'm going to stick to my previous strategy. So I just looked at first baseman, and Christ, there's not many. Scout positions, second base, international. Let's go back to it. Trust the process. It worked out for the 76ers. Who's to say it won't work out for me? Who's to say? All right, and again, you guys are going to look further at Christensen. All right. Hey, we got a series coming up. And I kicked the shit out of you. Including 11-0, 5-0, and 7-2. That's not a good thing. I'm not happy to have won. How the hell have I won 16 games? What the hell's going on in Montreal? You guys have Vladdy and Juan Soto. How am I better than you? That just doesn't fucking make sense. Doesn't make sense as you get the full look at Richie Christensen, by the way. Very high chance of being an A potential. You guys wanted to look at people you already had some info on, or at the very least, even dudes at the very top of the list. Honestly, yeah, there's no reason to not just kind of look at the top of the board here. Let me know if you disagree, but Dave McClain, Larry Long, Miguel Rios, all players available. You guys do have a relatively high pick. It was top 4, if I'm not mistaken. So you want to just look at the very top of the list? Or specifically at like, hey, look further at this closer. Ross Mosen. Ross Motion of the Ocean Mosen. Oh, of course, Daniel Nishii would be from California. Mother. All right. Dave McClain, Larry Long, Miguel Rios, third, first, and right. Oh, goodness. Love the Tony Molina for the Rockies. Has a 1.62 ERA to start the season. Oh, 10 earned runs. He's Venezuelan. Well, hey, I can't wait to bring him onto my team because I don't have options otherwise. It's going to be great. I'll keep an eye out for him. Especially given I'm getting ready to move to Venezuela at the end of the year. All right. See, this is Major League Baseball just toying with Expos fans. Yeah, we're going to bring him back for one season and then move to Venezuela. It's like, sorry, you couldn't support the team. You just didn't love them enough. All right. Wow. Well, this is certainly looking like a decent class at the top of the board here. Particularly for you guys. Yusnel Calderon out of Puerto Rico, so he's yours. Thomas Richards out of California. Andres Mendez out of New Mexico. So starter, center, and third. Rockies White Sox went to 2031. 2031. Not a good week for the Expos. Still on 19 wins. Let's go left field for me. Week 10 of 14. And for chat, keep having you guys just look at the top players available. I mean, you have that top 5 pick, whatever it may be. So, Woodson out of Michigan. What else do you not have a ton of info on? Jackie Self as a closer. There have been some Japanese players, but not a ton. And that's been a huge problem for me. And in general, when trying to build teams around Japanese players, is obviously they don't have a system that replicates real life with how a lot of Japanese players come over to Major League Baseball. So, as I somehow swept the Blue Jays. So not only do I not appear to have a ton of players available to me in this draft, my team keeps winning. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You guys are going to have some tremendous options available here at the very top of this draft. Some very good options. First, starter, and closer. They're all eligible. See who else is there. A couple weeks left. Yeah, no trade offers. I'm not surprised. I mean, you guys pretty much only have the big money players. Yeah, exactly. The international signing period not being in the game makes it a little bit awkward. See, who else do you guys have at the very top of the board here? All these guys are eligible for you. Catcher, starter, and right. And for me, right field, that'll leave me 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks to look at the best available players. Dude, I'm going to win 30 games this year. How? How? All right. Who are my top players available? Who do we got? I'm having to scroll down much further than I want to, given that I have the number 1 pick. Venezuelan Felipe Casillas at first base. Was there seriously nobody else? Not doing like continental North America was a mistake. Jamal McCarthy as a reliever. Look at him more. And where was he ranked? 44th. That's good. I definitely won't be taking him first overall. And that leaves Venezuelan David Valdez. I guess I'll look at you more. Why not? It's a starter, reliever, and first base. Christ. Well, let's see what else I can find. Then for chat, of course, you had continued to look at those towards the top half of the board. Are there any players? Is there anybody remaining? So you guys said second base is a big need. There are 2 second basemen as projected first round picks. Of course, that could change with some of the others. But Steve Rosado makes sense to look at, as does Stefan Rodriguez. And then shortstops, nobody projected in the first round. You could look at Chester Hairston a little bit more. He's a long shot. A long shot. High risk, high reward. And if it's not at shortstop, it was relievers, which you already have a lot of them looked at, and then starters. Daniel Nishi included. Probably makes sense to look at Daniel then. So starter and second base. All right. The penultimate week of scouting. I said the thing. Before we get to this draft, how the hell 29 wins? I mean, you guys have won 20 games. I don't know how the hell our teams are doing this. Yours makes a little bit more sense than my team finding success, that's for sure. So far, the top players that I have at my disposal here are all projected to be second rounders. So that hurts. Rico Cabrera. Might as well look at you. Might as well. Anybody else? Venezuela, Edgar Cabrera, who I already looked at. Then there was Kazuhito Yamazaki. Could be decent. I don't really know if I trust Cabrera. I mean, I pretty much know he's a long shot. He looks like, yeah, let's get more info on Cabrera. One more player to try and have this draft not be a nightmare for me. I don't need to look at him. Who's next? Aha! The country, not the state. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Rob Parnell out of Canada's back in the draft. Venezuela, Garrett Gentry. Out of Venezuela, you say? Is he number 78? Anybody else? Panama. Panama was not available to me. We got a Mainer. Good old Perry. Venezuela reliever Diego Molina. Dominican young lady from Shawinigan. Big shout out to Baffle for the primer. You are far too kind. I'm glad you have a front row seat to witness my terrible decision coming back to haunt me. As again, it is Team North America for chat. I get the rest of the world. The problem is the Dominican counts as North America. Cuba counts as North America. There's a lot of places that count as North America that you wouldn't quite think would count as North America, but here we are. So let's see here. Final week for chat. Again, catcher was in a kind of, there is a projected first round catcher, but you know he's going to be high risk, high reward. Left field was in kind of. There's two good left fielders. Scott Handy. Nick McKinley. I imagine they're both eligible. They are. And then center field, you already know about Yusnel Calderon. There's also Jeff Zeller. You might as well look at him just because that overall range is pretty damn good. So there you go. Obviously, again, we're still very much in the time frame where neither of us can look at exactly all that we want, but them's the breaks. Let's go to the 2026 entry draft. The third draft, if I'm not mistaken, for each of our teams. You know, so it's funny, like we talked about if we were to restart this, which we're not going to because Chat's especially already ended up with good players. Chat did say like, oh, we'll give you islands. And of course I said, oh, that's just because you want an excuse when I win. If we were to ever do this challenge again, it would be I get every international player available to me. It would be USA versus the world. I have the first overall pick in this draft. Chat at number 4. Who the hell am I taking first overall? I'm going to pretty much do what I always do and just scroll all the way through. Again, I don't get Dominican-born players because that's North America. Who knew? First player available is Felipe Casillas. So I'm going to add him to my draft board. Like I said, I'm pretty much going to go through add players to my board so I don't have to look before every single pick. This way I'll know exactly who is available to me. Edgar Cabrera. Oh, man. It's not looking too hot so far. Again, Cuba and Canada. Had it been USA versus the world would be good to go, but we did North America because we're stupid. We tried to base it off of an old hockey all-star format in the past. Venezuela, Garrett Gentry. Venezuela to glory is going very well for me. Diego Molina out of Venezuela. Where the hell are the Japanese? Come on. Come on. Give me a South Korean. There we go. David Chang. Jesus. Jesus. Canada, Venezuela. Edgar, dude, it's all Venezuela all the time. This is insane. It's all, come on. Give me, I don't even get Mexico. Venezuela, Domingo Fernandez. Venezuela, Henry Ramirez. Venezuela, Raul Correa. Netherlands, Lincoln Hager. You can have Ohio. Yeah, I don't think that'll help. Netherlands, Jeffrey Worth, who looks worthless. Venezuela, Daryl Flyer. Yeah, nothing says Venezuela like a dude named Daryl. Criminy. I'm cooked. I am absolutely cooked here, aren't I? Dude, do I even have 7 players to draft? Please? Oh my God. That's it. That's my entire board for this year's draft. So RNGesus hates me, is what I'm learning. RNGesus absolutely hates me. I don't know if this is going to be possible. This might not be possible. I might have to wave the white flag on this particular version of the concept, and then we come back to it at a different time. Yeah. God, maybe we divert course and go short kings, tall kings. I don't know. My first overall pick is obviously going to have to be the 19-year-old starter, Felipe Casillas. We're going to keep trying for a little bit, but I'm taking the first baseman, Felipe Casillas. Congratulations. You are the first overall pick. It still shows them in the old jerseys if it's one of the top 3 picks, of course, as we discovered. But Felipe, welcome in, buddy. Welcome in. What was it, the Rockies with the 2nd overall pick? Yes, it was. They take Andreas Mendez, starting pitcher who was projected 18th, or ranked 18th at the very least. And 3rd overall is Larry Long, who was projected 3rd, the right fielder, off to Milwaukee with his glorious hair. So that brings up chat at number 4. Well, you got starting pitcher Richie Christensen and 3rd baseman Dave McClain. Outside of that, there's some other guys who certainly look good, but don't have that crazy of a potential range. Arlo Rodriguez is also out there. AJ, all good, buddy. All good, all good. If we look at McClain, by the way, potentially a good power game. People are saying Richie. Is Richie the guy? Do you go for another starter? 21-year-old Richie Christensen. Dave McClain's a lot more interested, but there's some love for Dave. We'll throw it to a vote here. We'll throw it to a vote. Will it be Richie or will it be Dave? Who do you guys want with this 4th overall pick? The 3 frickin' teams in front of you did you a massive favor, that's for sure. Not touching either of the top 2 projected picks. It's ridiculous. Will it be Richie or will it be Big Dave McLean? Actually, how tall is he? He's 5'8". Big Dave McLean. Short King. Big Dave McLean. What a guy. Baffle, you can't touch anybody from Venezuela. They're mine. I have a monopoly on Venezuela. Which is... I don't know if that's ever been said before. But, you know. Looks like Richie's going to get the win. Chat will go for the 2nd year in a row with the #1 projected player. Starting pitcher Richie Christensen is on his way to the Couve. To the Couve. There you go, chat. Next pick up is me, 37th overall. What the hell am I going to get here? Again, we'll double check what the AI happened to do. So there's David Valdez, Jamal McCarthy. Looking at their draft ranks. So Valdez certainly looks like a boomer bust starting pitcher. He wasn't projected to be drafted. My scouts like him a lot. McCarthy was projected 48th. Good chance of him being a C. Kazuhito Yamazaki is about the same in terms of good chance of him being a C. He could be a decent power hitter, though. Garrett Gentry. Super boomer bust at 3rd base. And Diego Molina. It's looking about the same. I'm going to go with the top of the board. I'm going with the starting pitcher, David Valdez. Venezuelan supremacy. For the Expos, at least at the moment, for as long as we'll stay there. Who knows how much longer that'll be. Indeed, you guys do not have a 2nd round pick because of Vladdy. So yeah, I'm up next at 67, and you guys have a pick at 70. Let's see. At 67, Garrett Gentry is still there. No doubt in my mind, he's the boomer bust pick, but he's the guy to take. So Garrett, welcome in. And chat will be up next at number 70. So let's see. Blind pick, high risk, high reward with the starter, Clyde Floyd. High risk, high reward for the closer, Francis Menard. High risk, high reward for Luis Gomez. There was also Ryan Fiore, but you probably want to aim higher than that. Alexander Yu out of Massachusetts. That a bitch. There is Willie McLean, high risk, high reward, not quite to the extent of the others. There's this guy here, Devin Arneson. I mean, not scouted that much, but Rich German, also super high risk, high reward. Anthony Rosnjoy. Lewis Mercer. I mean, it's a lot of high risk, high reward picks. There is this guy here, Robert Sposato. I mean, very good chance of being at least a B. The question is, how good would the overall be? Perry Lopez, high risk, high reward. Beautiful Maynor. That's about it there. So I'm seeing some Devin Arneson thrown out there. The first closer in Francis Menard. Robert Sposato was mentioned quite a bit too. So we're going to look at those 3. Menard, 68 to a 98, 19 years old, big time high risk, high reward. Arneson out of Michigan, only 10% scouted, but if that 10% is accurate, he's going to be at least a B. And then people like the looks of shortstop Robert Sposato, who is also pretty high risk, high reward at shortstop on 23% scouted. And Gomez was also listed out of Cuba. You guys don't know a damn thing about him. So we'll throw it to another poll. What do you guys want here? Do you want Menard, the closer, the center fielder Gomez, Devin Arneson, or Robert Sposato? What do you guys think? Sposato seems to be getting a lot of love in the early stages. Will it be the shortstop or Robert Sposato? Jorge Posada. Will it be the Sposato? I don't think I've ever seen that surname in this game before, but the player name base is pretty large. All right, we got our answer. It is going to be the shortstop, Robert Sposato, on his way to Vancouver. Up next is you guys, pick number 75. You will also, well, you get a choice. Menard and Arneson were there. Arneson had one more vote than Menard. What do you guys think? Do you want to go for Menard now that you're going to be able to get 2 out of 3? Both, again, were high risk, high reward. Arneson could be good, but how good was Floyd? Another high risk, high reward player that wasn't scouted very much. All right, Menard seems to be the shout. Damn you, Crash. Francis Menard on his way to Vancouver. Jack goes 2 for 1. For me, who do I have? Anybody left with a 90? Nope. Oh, God. Well, David Chang is projected to go next. Then there's Edgar Sanchez. We'll go with relief pitcher David Chang. Come on down, Davey. Hope for the best. Hope for the best. Chat's up next in round 4. I mean, in terms of those 3 really good players, chat, you got the starting pitcher Floyd, Lewis Mercer at shortstop, or Perry Lopez as a reliever. They're all the same, super high risk, high reward. They were worthy of a pick in the 2nd round. They're still available in the 4th. You got 40 seconds. Chat shouting out the starter, Clyde Floyd. Going once on Floyd. Floyd's the guy. All right. Clyde Floyd on his way to the Couve. For me, I'm just going to take who's projected next to go. Venezuelan Edgar Sanchez. Come on down, Edgar. This is... All right, up next for you guys. Let's see who's available here. I mean, Ted Braley doesn't have the chance of being an A. Mikey Hartman wasn't bad. Huge high-risk, high-reward center fielder Scott Maloney. There's also center fielder Ramon Trejo. Bartolo Fritas. Todd Schwartz. John Cockrell. I mean, all these guys. Harvey Deerdorf. Super high risk, high reward. That's about all we can look at right now. What do you guys think? Those are the players available. You got 23 seconds. I need some names. Who do you like the looks of? Whose jib do you like the cut of? Maloney, John Cock, Bartolo, Scott. Maloney's going to get the win. Center fielder Scott Maloney on his way to the Couve. For me, just top of the list again, Domingo Fernandez out of Venezuela. Yeah, it's Venezuela to glory with a couple of Dutchmen and Koreans. How the fuck is this playing out this way? Round number 6. Let's see who you guys have. Sebastian Gutierrez, high risk, high reward. Marco Lopez. Gary Thomas. Luis Zitlo. Luis, who's to say? Jeff Long and his mustache. Chat, who do you want? Out of those 5, you got 35 seconds. Who do you like the looks of? Who do you like the looks of? I mean, it's best guess anyway. Some shout outs for the catcher Long. Marco Lopez getting some love. But it looks like chat's going for Jeff Long. It's pretty close. Long looks like he's the guy, though. Jeff Long, what a man. What a man. out of Tennessee. For me, I'm down to my final 4. God help me. Got no choice. Lincoln Hager, out of the Netherlands, is the choice. I can't say I have a ton of faith in how that draft went for me. I can't say I have a ton of faith in terms of my chances in this entire thing, but god damn it, we're going to see it through.